So today I'm reviewing the Essence Skin Tint in the shade 10, that is the lightest shade. Let's get straight into the swatches and comparisons with some of my other skin tints and foundations. So going from here, this is the Essence Skin Tint in the shade 10. As you can see, it is the darkest one on my hand, and we'll talk about that shortly. The next product along is the Maybelline Skin Tint in the lightest shade, which is 02. Then the next one is the MAC Studio Radiance Serum Foundation that I reviewed recently. Next along is the L'Oreal Luminous and Smooth in the shade 095. And finally, we have got the L'Oreal True Match in the shade 0.5N. So I'll just bring my arm a little closer so you can see those swatches. As you can see, this skin tint is too dark for me, but it's not as bad as it looks in the tube or on my hand. Because it is a skin tint, it does sort of blend in with my skin tone, and I can bring it down my neck. This might be a really good affordable option for some of you out there who want to try a skin tint but don't want to spend loads and loads of money on it. So it comes in this squeezy tube here. This is what the packaging looks like. So it's very travel friendly. It would be a great one for going away on holiday because you're not going to have any glass that breaks. It is the standard 30 ml or 1 fluid ounce. Let me just read what Essence says on the website. So there are 16 shades available. It is a hydrating skin tint with light to medium coverage, and it has SPF 30. It evens out the skin while feeling super light and comfortable to wear. It is a light version of our foundation. Now, they have several foundations, so I'm not sure which foundation they're referencing. It didn't actually say. And it also says that it doesn't clog pores. This is vegan and cruelty free, and I know that's very important to some of you. That's definitely a plus for this product. It also includes aloe vera and hyaluronic acid, both of which are great if you have a dry skin type like mine. So I'm going to squeeze some of this onto the back of my hand and we'll start putting it on my skin. I've just put a good amount on my hand. This is not a first impressions. I have actually tried this before, but this is my first time trying it with a sponge because I want to see if that shears out the coverage and maybe provides a nicer finish. So I'm starting just over here on one side of my face so we can do a comparison. I did dampen this beauty blender and it is a brand new one, so there is absolutely no product on this already. It's just purely the Essence Skin Tint. So that's what it's looking like there on my cheek. It's really not as bad a match as I thought it would be, considering how dark it looked when it dried down on my hand. I've definitely tried a lot worse. I am bringing a little bit under my eyes and then just onto my nose here. So that's how the skin tint is looking with the damp sponge. And I think this might be my favorite way to apply it. The product does have a really pretty sort of a glow. However, when I applied it with a brush, I wasn't happy with how it wore throughout the day. It didn't keep this lovely glow. That seemed to disappear after a few hours. So again, side with product. You can still see all of my freckles, you can see my sunspot, there's still darkness under my eyes, but it has given me more of a consistent tone to my skin. So let's do the other side. I've got some sort of redness here, a tiny breakout, so let's see if it covers that. The sponge has definitely absorbed a little bit of the product. I think I left the sponge for too long because I got a phone call in between. It's not as damp as it should be, but I could always add a little bit more, especially for $3.99. I'm just going to add a little bit more on this side. So again, just going back to this squeezy tube. I do like this packaging because it's really easy to control the amount that comes out. I'm not a massive fan of those droppers. I think they're my least favorite. I really like using a sponge because I think it's the easiest way to get around my nose piercing. Just making sure everything is blended into my hairline and down my face. So some people were complaining, or rather maybe just stating, that this is more like a foundation. It definitely can be worn that way. And I did get more coverage when I used a brush. However, I think it looks really nice applied with this damp sponge, and it definitely gives lighter coverage. I'm going to put on the rest of my makeup and I'm going to check in when my makeup is done so you can see maybe half an hour or an hour later what it looks like. And I'll try to do a final check-in later on in maybe 4 or 5 hours to see what it looks like as well. I really want this glow to continue. I want to see how it stays on my skin, both with other makeup, set with powder, etc., when it's been applied with a sponge. Maybe having pushed it into my skin, it will look a little bit better and retain that glow. Hi everyone, I'm just back to check in now that my makeup is fully applied. It definitely looks darker than it did earlier. I know I've got contour and blush and so on, but even if you just look here, even around my chin looks a bit darker. So it's oxidized a little bit, but I do think my skin looks really nice. I think this will probably hold up quite well. The glow is definitely still there. I don't have any highlighter on, but my neck, as you can see, is quite a different color. If you're a bit darker than me, then this might be a really good option for you. I will probably be able to check in a few hours again just to show you how it's worn after a bit more time. It's probably only been about an hour because I was filming another video. We'll see if it continues to oxidize, so I'll catch you later. Hi guys, so just a super quick update on the Flash Skin Tint that I'm wearing from Essence. It's been about 3 hours since I applied my makeup. I don't think it's gotten any darker, but it's still definitely too dark. Please let me know what you think of this. If you're considering buying it, maybe you've tried it before, let me know. And please do consider subscribing, it would mean a lot to me. See you in the next one. Bye.